Hi, I'm Alastair and this is Connor, and this is our assessment of David Green. David Green is a single 49-year-old man who lives in a deprived area and is currently unemployed. David has convictions of theft, breach of peace and assault and has served a short term in prison. David has a difficult relationship with his family, whom he barely speaks to, apart from his mum and dad, who he visits on occasion when he can stay sober enough. David is dirty and he smells as he does not clean himself or wash his clothes. He has a yellow tinge to his skin. He also smokes frequently, up to 20 if not more, whilst drunk. He has no care for his life and has the belief that it's too far for him now.
The effects that alcohol has in the body. There are numerous negative effects that alcohol has in the body, both short term and long term. Some of the short term effects include speeding up the heart rate, dehydration, expanded blood vessels, which gives a false sense of security, of feeling warm, and also decisions and judgments are not well thought through, reaction times are slower, along with coordination. Consuming too much alcohol can lead to alcohol poisoning. This can have effects such as interference with breathing, interference with the heart rate and gag reflexes. In worst case scenarios, alcohol poisoning can lead to causing a person to fall into a coma, which can potentially lead to death. Risks of drinking large quantities include accident and injury, violence, antisocial behaviour, unsafe sex, loss of personal possessions, having to call it ill for work, and potentially developing something called alcoholism. Due to the statistics here, you can see that as alcohol consumption of drinks per day goes up, the all-cause mortality also increases. Similar to this chart, where as alcohol consumption increases, the relative risk also increases.
What is alcoholism? Alcoholism is just drinking alcohol in excess on regular periods of time. So the stated recommended daily dose for alcohol is 14 units per week for men. David here has a lot more than that, because he has vodka in the mornings often if he's drinking, and then goes out still to buy more alcohol. Vodka is a very strong spirit, so it's having a very high impact on his body. He has had alcoholism for a while. He started drinking when he was just in his mid-teens, and he has drunk ever since. And you combine this with smoking, it's very unhealthy.
The current risk of David's alcoholism is David is at a very high risk due to his dependency. He states that on days that he drinks, as Ali said, as soon as he wakes up, he drinks vodka. He will then go out to the shops to then buy more. The amount of alcohol that David consumes over such a short space of time will definitely be affecting his parasympathetic aspect of his nervous system, which is essentially clouding his fight or flight function in his brain. When David stops drinking, he will suffer physical withdrawal symptoms such as shaking, sweating, nausea, hallucinations and potentially seizures. Psychological symptoms include depression, anxiety, irritability, restlessness and insomnia.
Yes, there are many more long-term effects from alcoholism too. So you have hypertension, high risk of strokes, high blood pressure, a risk of bowel cancer, stomach cancer, and also for David, alcoholism is very expensive because he's going out to buy alcohol regularly when he's unemployed. He also, because he can't find work very easily through his, because he's got a criminal record and everything, so he's on benefits at the moment, and he's spending all his money on alcohol and smoking, so he really has no money to save for heating and amenities such as that.
The solution to his alcoholism is one way would be to ask him to join Alcoholics Anonymous and attend the meetings in which they set up. Another way would be to properly inform him of the negative effects that alcohol actually has on his body, and then that might force him himself to make a change. Another one is ask his family to have more interaction with him and to go to his house and check up on him regularly. Ask them to get closer with them to provide peer support, because that's a massive impact. Another way is to help them find a job, so he has something to value which will prevent them from drinking. So binge drinking on one day to then not turn up for work the next. Also attempt to help his friend Joe, who is his social friend, to turn away from alcohol. This will help, so it will be two of them on the journey rather than just one. Another way would be ensure that he regularly goes and checks up to keeping his dad, to keep him busy, keep him active rather than having nothing to do, so he drink. Have him spend more time with his nieces and nephews, as this is something he enjoys, and obviously drinking will affect them as well, so that would persuade them to change. And ideally, the last option would be if the withdrawal symptoms from drinking are too strong, refer him to a rehab centre for further consultation.
Smoking has a detrimental effect on the body. David, who smokes typically between 15 to 20 a day, is at very high risk, because when you smoke, there's something called nicotine in it, so that's a chemical that causes addiction, and because of that addiction, and also the tar which is inside the cigarettes, which attaches to the cilia inside your lungs, causing all sorts of diseases such as lung disease, and can contribute to lung cancer. Smoking also increases blood pressure and heart rate, leading to hypertension and other similar diseases such as heart disease. This is just statistics about smoking in deprived areas, and because David lives in such a deprived area, it's far more likely for him to be smoking. So it's at the moment, there's 27% of people in deprived areas are smoking, so that just shows the statistics that are backing it up.
So what happens when you're addicted to smoking? Well, it says here that smoking causes around 7 out of every 10 cases of lung cancer, according to Water Health Risk of Smoking. Therefore, being addicted to smoking, especially on such a scale as what David is, can vastly increase the possibility of getting lung cancer and potentially dying. Cigarettes are highly addictive, as I said, due to the drugs they contain. Drugs called nicotine. When smoking for a very long period of time, the body becomes dependent on it, and that's the reason why people crave it so badly, and this is what makes smoking so difficult for long-term users to stop. When being addicted to smoking over such a long period of time, side effects can often be irreversible. This may be one of the reasons why David claims that he's too old to make a difference. However, stopping smoking can lower your risk of getting things such as cancer and having a heart attack, but more importantly, it stops the side effects from it being addicted from actually getting any worse.
There are many withdrawal symptoms from stopping smoking. So you have your basic ones like nausea, vomiting, you often get hallucinations and things too, and because it's so addictive, people feel such high anxiety going off it. So when people begin to start smoking, they often start thinking that it's a way to stop stress and lower their anxiety, but in the long term, it really is a lot worse for their health.
So some of the solutions for David's smoking addiction is have him understand, again similar to the drinking, have him understand what it does to him and those around him, and pay specific attention to his nieces and nephews. So with the likes of second-hand smoke, this will affect them, it will affect their lungs, it will affect their lives. Have him understand again the effects that it has on his body. Have him create a list of things that he enjoys doing, so any hobbies or activities, so that any time he craves a cigarette, so for instance if he likes playing football, tell him to go out, kick a ball about, get his nephew out, kick the ball about, keep him active, keep his head off nicotine. Again, any time he wants to have a cigarette, consider going to his father's to help him out, to go help out about the house. Again, just try and keep his head off it as much as he can. Having a glass of water, so make him feel refreshed and less likely to want a cigarette. And if he goes through heavy withdrawal symptoms, have having to refer to nicotine substitutes. So these are like your e-cigarettes, your nicotine patches, anything like that. It'll provide them with some amount of nicotine, but won't provide them with the poison that cigarettes do.
Inactivity. Due to David's inactivity, there's lots of implications to his health. His diet, his smoking addiction and his drinking all combine to create a very unhealthy body and lifestyle. There are numerous health benefits from being active. Exercise combats health conditions and diseases. Also, David lacks an unhealthy lifestyle, becoming more active, allowing his body to define from the seasonal ill health. So even if we have David doing half an hour walk a day just to get the blood flowing through his body, and that will prevent a lot of disease in the future, the more exercise the better. If you can get involved with football, even walking football at his age or with his health, it will be very beneficial, although he does have arthritis in his knees. Exercise will also improve his mental state and his mood, and it'll try and keep his mind off smoking and drinking, as it's not that easy for him and a lot of people who have been doing it for so long. So you need as many distractions as possible. Exercise also boosts his energy. This allows David to do other things in his life, such as helping his father more and spending more time with his nieces and nephews, who he really believes that he's a good role model to.
David's diet is very poor, as we can see here for the fish and chips. It doesn't look great. David's diet mainly consists of fish and chips, Pop-Tarts and caramel shortcakes. These are also very unhealthy, high in calories, and can also cause issues inside the body. It has no nutritional benefit at all, so he's not getting these 5 a day, he's not cooking properly, he's not making sure that he's eating the right stuff. So this again, and on top of his smoking and his alcohol and his inactivity, this is just contributing to a bad lifestyle. He's likely to suffer from malnutrition, is at high risk of scurvy due to a lack of vitamins. Again, similar, he's not taking any substitutes or anything else, so he's not getting any of his vital vitamins. David needs to start eating fruit and vegetables and a mixed home cooking diet. So again, cooking as well would help him with everything else, with his alcohol issues, with his smoking issues, keep him busy, have him learning, have him getting active really. We'd recommend that he seeks help from his family to start eating good food again. So again, having that influence from other people apart from himself and his drinking friend Joe. The food he currently eats is full of sugar and fat, which can result in type 2 diabetes and heart disease, which quite frankly is the last thing he wants right now.
There are mental factors as well impact David a lot. When he was in prison, he was diagnosed with depression, which is not really a very big surprise considering he was smoking and drinking from his mid-teens. Smoking and drinking both have a massive effect on his mental health. Smoking, believes when people start smoking, a lot of people believe that it'll lower his anxiety, it'll lower all the stress in his life, and so a lot of people start smoking, but in the end, trying to withdraw from it, and the amount of cigarettes that you smoke actually leads to having no effect at all, so you're just left with tarring your lungs. Alcohol as well is detrimental to the mind, as it lower serotonin, which controls mood. So it says like when David has a lot to drink, he'll often be in a bad mood, and that'll also sever relationships with his family. So because he's not so close to his family members. This is a graph here showing the mental impact in areas of deprivation. So it's very distinct here that the correlation that the more deprived areas are by far more effect than the rest of the areas.
So the behavioural factors which will impact David is the social influences, which again, as I spoke about earlier on, David's friend Joe is a very negative social influence because they are both into similar stuff, for example the drinking and smoking. So this just encourages him to do it day to day. when ideally he should be looking for a job, trying to get out, as we said, get active, try to keep his mind off of smoking and drinking. And due to his love for his drinking and his smoking, he blocked out all other social influences, which is his family, who most likely tried to be there to help him, and he's obviously just blocked it out. So again, getting them more involved, listening to their advice, trying to allow them to help him will massively impact his journey. In terms of society, like the graph before, it shows that in deprived areas people aren't as well off and they aren't able to, say, live a healthy lifestyle. David lives in the deprived area, which typically has a higher drug and alcohol abuse, which will also increase the violence, which could explain potentially why his body usually has cuts. These might be from falls, but these also could be from violence. David is currently unemployed and he should be referred to a job centre when his drinking is under some moderate control.
So in conclusion, David is a very, very unhealthy man. He drinks and smokes excessively, and these are the two issues that we think need to be addressed utmost, especially his drinking. Because when David drinks, he barely ever eats, which lets him have no energy, and it also just affects his mood too much. So if we can get David to have a lot less alcohol, then he won't have the same tendencies to be smoking as much. He won't have the same tendencies to shut himself away, and that is probably at the foremost of what we need to sort here. It's quite hard to sort such a severe drinking problem, but it can be addressed with a combination of, if it's very severe, rehabilitation, and if it's not so severe, AA meetings and a lot of help from family and friends, just to wean him off the alcohol. He also has a very bad diet, which very much needs to be addressed. We'd like to do that by letting him cook his own meals, and that has to come through his family, really, providing him with the support and teaching him how to cook nutritious meals and just helping him in any way possible. And with his drinking as well, he'll very much need to be, before he can move on with his life and move into employment, he needs to be sober first. So his family have to help him with that, and foremost. The cigarettes as well, having a very bad effect physically to his body, so those need to be cut back quite dramatically. Even if he just cut back to say maybe 5 a day, slowly weaned himself off through e-cigarettes, nicotine patches, that would help his health very much. And he needs to start exercising. That is one of the main things as well. Exercise, it will just improve his mood. He won't be thinking about smoking and drinking, and it'll decrease his chances of all the horrible diseases that he can get to smoking and drinking.
Here's a list of references. Tried to use the most helpful websites we could, so we stuck to the NHS, Drinkaware, again mydoctor.au. Have a good reference right there. Yeah, and also Government Scotland for the Scottish Health Survey.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.